in San Francisco met at USF, you've heard of that place, to discuss various things. And one question was, what are your hopes for the future? And I said, I don't have much future left. And so this retirement party, it brings to mind Ray Dennehy, who was leading us forward through his 80th year. We hope we get there ourselves, and you too. But I thought I'd give you a little historical background for the other speakers of why we are here, because if it hadn't been for certain circumstances in the past, there'd be a celebration somewhere else for both a birthday and a retirement, but we wouldn't be here. And what happened was, when I was a young Jesuit scholastic at the University of Santa Clara in 1967 and 68, Ray Dennehy was there in the philosophy department. And we were both privileged to be with one of the great Jesuit philosophers, moral philosophers of the last century, Austin Faculty. It was a great joy to be with him, just to see how he taught his classes and read what he wrote. His book, Right and Reason, by the way, is still, I think, the best textbook on personal and social ethics. But that was 67 and 68. A lot of confusion was taken. The Vatican Council was just finished in 1968, and Juan Evita came out, and Ray Dennehy was one of the few really strong, solid defenders of that papal teaching, which is a historic teaching. And I heard Ray then defend it, and he was just as funny and just as witty and just as incisive as you know him to be. I went on to France for my studies, and I came back to USF. I came to USF in 1974, and Ray had been working on his doctorate at Toronto, but there was a complication and it was a delay, and so they were not going to rehire him at Santa Clara. So I was now at USF, and I met Father Buckley, Cornelius Buckley, and Father Bob Maloney. And so I went to Father Bob Maloney, and I said, look, Ray Dennehy, he's not going to have a job next year, and he's a great philosopher, and he's terrific, and we need to get him here. So Bob Maloney, who was head of the night school, hired Ray as administrator, if you can believe that, but also had him teach. And that was how Dr. Ray Dennehy, got to USF in 1974. And then, before I got there, some of the Jesuits, including Father Buckley, have been trying to figure out what can we do to try and renew the church, restore Catholic education and Jesuit education. And so, in 1975, Ray and I and John Galton, who was at Presentation High School at the time, and Kim Summer-Hayes, and Dr. Felice, now Father Felice, we got together in the women's bathroom in Loyola Hall. But it had been converted into a chapel. So we had Mass here once a week, and we were praying to the Lord to give us inspiration. What can we do to serve the church in San Francisco? What can we do to help Catholic education in San Francisco? And we prayed for the whole spring semester of 1975 without an answer. And then in the summer of 1975, Ray Dennehy, John Galton, Dr. Felice, and I went to Santa Rosa to meet with Bishop Hurley because he wanted to put on some kind of an institute, a pro-life type thing. And Dr. Felice said, well, I want you to meet this group. There's a group of recent converts by Sebastopol. I need to know what you think about them. So we drove up to this place, and it was about 16 or 17 people who've been living the hippie life for 10 or 15 years. They had children with each other in completely random manner. They had read themselves into Christianity and gone to the Protestant church and were saved, altar call, and get back the next week. They came up again, and the pastor said, well, you guys are already saved. They said, no, we need more than that. So they read themselves into the Catholic Church, and we walked into their house, and they had Thomas Aquinas in Latin. They had a Hebrew Bible. Man, incredible what they did. And at that time, John and I were thinking we need to make a pilgrimage to Guadalupe to figure out what to do. And we drove to the house, and there was a bus, an old broken down blue bus on the side of the driveway. And we opened, this guy Hal opened the door to let us in, and right over the mantelpiece was a picture of Lady Guadalupe. So the first thing I said was, how would you guys like to make a pilgrimage to Guadalupe? And they said, when do we leave? So on August 15, 1975, John and I and his two sons and this group went to this bus down to Mexico. And we got there on August 22nd, which is of the 15th, of course, the Assumption, and the 22nd is the Feast of the Queen of Mary. And we prayed at the Shrine of Lady Guadalupe and came back. And that's when the inspiration came. We need to start a program at the University of San Francisco that will be faithful to the Church of Tradition, faithful to the Jesuit Ratio Studiorum. And that's when we began the Institute with Ray Dennehy, John Galt, myself, Kim Summerhays, Father Buckley. And I just want to pause for a moment right now and say, we owe a great debt to Father Bob Maloney. I mean, he was a great man. He succeeded me. Yeah. He succeeded me as the director of the Institute when I got fired in '87. And then John Galton succeeded him. And you know, for 25 years, from 1976 to 2001, we had a great run. It was a great thing going, and you people are the fruit of that. And even at the table tonight, you know, John and I were talking to Sherry and Katie and Donna Bargetto there. I don't know the last name now. Donna Bargetto was what it was then. Guess I know that's the winery, Bargetto Winery. But they have a little reading group, and they read Evangelium Gaudium, and now they're going to read Making It Okay by Bob Riley, one of our books. And this is the fruit of what we did for those 25 years. And some of your kids are now going to a place like Dallas or Ave Maria or Benedictine College in Ashton, Kansas. There's several of your kids are going there. And this is what's carrying on the spirit of what we started in '76 and kept going for 25 years. And that can't be taken away from us. I mean, the Institute was basically destroyed. I was going to say it's a shadow of its former self, but a shadow has the same shape as the body. And this is not of the same shape. It's like a corrupt body. But really, we've said this to ourselves in the past, that no matter what happens, nothing can take away those 25 years of formation that was given to people like yourselves. And now your children are benefiting from that. So I'm really happy to be here on Ray's retirement and to kind of give the historical background of this. But I just think we have to be thankful to God every day that He brought together all of you and all of us to form a community which was truly a diverse community of people who strong in their faith, wanted to deepen their faith, and wanted to share with each other the riches of Catholic tradition, and that was the Institute. So thank you, Ray, for what you did. It's been great.